You sat down to do one thing, and somehow 40 minutes disappeared. That's not laziness. That's not a character flaw. And the terrifying part? It was built specifically for you. The trap you didn't know you walked into. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong. The focus problem isn't about discipline. It's not about willpower. It's not about whether you're a morning person or whether you meditate enough or whether your desk is clean. The reason you can't hold a single thought for more than 90 seconds is because there are entire engineering teams, hundreds of them, whose only job is to make sure you can't. Every app on your phone was designed in a lab, tested on human psychology, refined until it created the maximum possible compulsion to return. The colors, the sounds, the unpredictable reward patterns, built directly on the same behavioral science used to design slot machines. You're not fighting your laziness. You're fighting billion-dollar infrastructure, and you've been trying to defeat it with a to-do list. What fragmented attention actually costs? Here's what the research shows, and this number tends to stop people cold. Every time your attention is broken, every notification, every tab switch, every 2-second phone check, it takes an average of 23 minutes to return to the same depth of focus. Not 23 seconds, 23 minutes. Which means most people are never actually in deep focus during a standard workday. They're just skimming the surface of task after task, feeling vaguely productive while actually achieving a fraction of what they're capable of. But here's the part that goes deeper than productivity. Fragmented attention doesn't just affect your output. It shapes how you think. A brain trained to flip between stimuli loses the ability to sit with complexity, to tolerate the discomfort of a hard problem long enough to actually solve it. To follow a thought all the way to the end. You start reaching for distraction not because you're bored, but because depth has become genuinely uncomfortable. That's the trap underneath the trap. The mental loops that trap from the inside. But let's be honest about something. Not every trap comes from a tech company. Some of them you built yourself. There's the rumination loop, where the same unresolved thought plays on repeat, quietly consuming processing power in the background of everything you do. The argument from 3 days ago. The decision you're afraid to make. The version of the future you can't stop catastrophizing. You're not distracted. You're haunted. Then there's the planning loop, where you spend so much time organizing, preparing, and optimizing how you'll do the work that you never actually start doing it. The perfectly structured Notion board. The color-coded calendar. The motivational playlist that takes 15 minutes to build before you begin. Preparation becomes a performance of progress. And underneath it, always, is the same fear. What if I start, and I'm not good enough? These loops aren't signs that something is broken in you. They're signs that something is unresolved in you. And you can't productivity hack your way out of something that's actually an emotional problem. What mental freedom actually feels like. There are moments, rare ones, when it all goes quiet. You're so absorbed in what you're doing that time stops functioning normally. You're not monitoring yourself. You're not thinking about how you look doing the work. You're not calculating how long it'll take or whether you're behind schedule. You're just in it. Psychologists call this flow. But that word has been so overused it's lost its meaning. What it actually feels like is this: you disappear. The self-conscious narrator in your head, the one constantly evaluating, critiquing, comparing, goes offline. And what's left is just you and the work, moving together without friction. That state is not a reward for being disciplined enough. It's not a personality trait reserved for certain people. It's a neurological condition you can create, reliably, but only if you understand what blocks it. And most people are blocking it constantly without knowing. Breaking the traps, what actually works. So let's talk about what actually moves the needle. Not productivity theater. Real structural changes. The first trap to break is access. Not usage. Access. There's a fundamental difference between deciding not to check your phone and not being able to check your phone because it's in another room. Willpower is a depleting resource. Environment is a permanent architecture. Change the architecture. The second trap to break is the false start. Most people wait to feel ready before they begin. But motivation doesn't precede action, it follows it. The emotional shift you're waiting for? It comes about 4 minutes into the work, not before it. The rule is simple. Start before you're ready, for 2 minutes, on anything. The brain will catch up. The third trap, and this is the one nobody talks about, is unprocessed mental clutter. The thoughts that circle. The decisions you haven't made. The conversations you're avoiding. Every unresolved item in your life is running silently in the background, consuming attention you think you have, but don't. A brain dump isn't a productivity tip. It's maintenance. 10 minutes of writing every unresolved thought out of your head and onto paper creates more genuine focus than any app or technique you can stack on top of a cluttered mind. Empty the cache, then do the work. The deeper freedom. Here's the thing about mental freedom that takes a while to understand. It's not just about getting more done. It's not about optimizing your output or becoming some kind of focused machine. It's about what you get back. When you reclaim your attention, truly reclaim it, you start noticing things again. Details you'd stopped registering. Conversations you're actually present for. Ideas that only surface in the quiet. A quality of thinking that's slower and stranger and more yours than the rapid-fire, stimulus-response loop that passes for thought in a distracted life. You get your mind back. And with it, something that fragmented attention quietly steals from almost everyone eventually. The experience of being genuinely alive inside your own life. Not scrolling through it. Not performing it. Not planning it from behind a wall of distraction. In it. Fully. With all the texture and difficulty and beauty that only become visible when you're actually paying attention. The payoff. The trap was never really about your phone. It was never really about your habits or your schedule or the productivity system you haven't found yet. The trap was the belief that the version of you who could focus, create, and think clearly was somewhere out there, waiting to be unlocked by the right technique. That version isn't out there. It's what's left when you remove what doesn't belong. The noise, the loops, the performance, the constant low-grade hum of other people's urgency living rent-free in your head. Remove those things, not all at once, but one choice at a time, and what remains is a mind that's sharper, calmer, and more capable than you've let yourself believe in a very long time. The trap breaks the moment you stop walking into it. You don't need more discipline. You need a better understanding of what's actually competing for your mind, and a few structural decisions that make focus the path of least resistance instead of the hardest thing you do all day. One thing. In the comments, tell me the single biggest mental trap you recognized in this video. I'll read them. And if you want to go further, the next video builds directly on this one.